everyone, and welcome back to The Practiced Life. Ooh, I love today's episode. This speaks so much to my old patterns. Whoa. See if it speaks to your patterns. I'm calling today's episode Know When to Fold 'Em. And it's about the tendency that many of us that grew up a certain way with certain training, as did our mothers and grandmothers and so on. Why do we stay too long? Why do we stay too long? And it's a sweeping generalization. So if it doesn't apply to you, just listen and see if you know somebody who is affected by stay too long-itis, I'm calling it. Oh, that's a good question. Why do we stay too long? And I think there's a lot of reasons for that. One of the reasons is because we were taught to be nice. Being nice was more important than anything as related to building our own lives and creating our own dynamic, brilliant, beautiful lives. It was first most important to be nice. Secondly, anything that even hinted at the idea of someone feeling hurt by your actions was verboten. And really standing up for yourself and having your own back was that was gibberish. That would not be tolerated. That was standing up and having your own back and using your voice would have been quelled and shushed in a nanosecond. So there's a lot of reasons for that. Um, you know, my mom would have said, "You just put up with it." I'm like, but what happens if something isn't working for you and it's become toxic? You just put up with it, my mother would have said. And so I absorbed all that. I absorbed the dance of in your mind, you're railing about everything that's bothering you about someone, but on the surface, you're maintaining the semblance of a relationship and you're going through the motions of it because that's what a nice girl does. So I had stay too long itis. I mean, I stayed too long at everything. I stayed too long at every job. I stayed too long in every friendship that was going south. I stayed too long in every relationship. I stayed too long because I also have this thing. I'm not a quitter. I don't want to give up. I don't want to give up. And so what did it cost me as I was preparing for this podcast? I was really thinking about that. What did my stay too long itis cost me? And it cost me years of my life. It cost me years to my life. I wrote about this in my memoir, The Beautiful No, that I could not leave something. I could not leave a job that no longer fit me until I could barely get out of bed in the morning. That is when I would be like, well, I guess I got to quit. Because I was so overcome with depression and despair because it just wasn't a match anymore. So it cost me so much. It cost me years of my life. And until I finally, and this is until, I mean, I'm talking about 58. I'm talking about it took me a long time to see that I had it wrong. My training was incorrect, that we are supposed to move on from one another in most cases. In most cases, we meet, we share, we help each other grow, and then we grow in our own way. We are not supposed to cling to every single person we've ever met in our entire lives. And that's why things get really tricky because we all grow. We all continue to grow. We're building our own individual universes. And our universes aren't always a match to one another. Nothing wrong with that. You go your way, I go this way. Can we wave at each other and wish each other well instead of trying to drag along a relationship that really no longer serves? You know, goodness knows at the Oprah show, I heard this many, many times. The wisdom from Dr. Maya Angelou, and it was when someone shows you who they are, believe them. And what is often not repeated is the last part of that, which is the first time. And when someone shows you who they are, and you are sitting there saying, we're no longer a match. I see we're not a match anymore. I see that our purpose together has been served. Then I say this, what I understand now, it's time to move on. And you can keep the fond memories, keep the memories of the fun times together, because not everything was terrible, but staying beyond the point of natural expiration, when your soul is literally saying, this is done. Staying beyond that point is what happens. It's exactly what happens to food beyond the point of expiration. It spoils. It becomes rotted. It spoils and ultimately toxic. So that's really something to think about, to question your training from childhood, to see what kind of patterns have shown up in your life about staying too long, not moving on, not being number one concerned with your own growth and expansion. And also shedding the notion that moving on from somebody is mean or wrong, that advocating for your own growth and expansion and making decisions based on that is somehow wrong. You're supposed to do that. Your soul, your spirit team, your guidance, that's what you're supposed to do. They are cheering you on. I have a tendency to think that when you have a bad parting with somebody, it literally is both your souls have said, enough, people, and have just ripped you apart because you weren't willing to do it yourself. So I see this now, that just like things in your life, just like outcomes, holding things lightly, loving people deeply, but holding relationships lightly, and understanding that not every single person is meant to walk you home. Not every single person. There are probably just a handful of people who are meant to walk you home. And give this some thought if you're in the middle of life. There are new people waiting to come in that are going to bring a fresh set of dynamics, a new conversation, a new point of expansion, new points of view, new perspectives. And these people are the next people who are going to help you usher in a whole new version of you in your life. And that is how it's supposed to be. That's what I think. That's what I think. So know when to fold them, and maybe learn how to do it with grace and ease. With grace and ease. Good luck to you. Be well. Farewell. I'll see you on the other side. Thanks for listening to The Practice Life. This is a good one. I really want you to think about it. At first, you're going to have a reaction to it, and you may have resistance because you've held every single person you've ever known in your life close to your chest. But you really have to sit back and think about, what are you doing? And are you managing? Are you creating the best version of your life as it relates to the relationships you have with other people? It's worth giving that some really serious consideration. And for those of you who are joining me in the morning magic practice every day, I know you are having life-changing results. I know, and I love the comments you're sending me. It's so simple, isn't it? It's so simple, and yet in less than 3 minutes a day, you can start your mornings brilliantly. And it's just such a simple but really powerful practice. If you would like to stream that practice with us, go to sherrysalata.com/free network. It's the free front porch of my platform. It just takes a minute. You just put in your info and you could be streaming it in 2 shakes. It's really, really good. And people are having amazing results. Thanks for listening. I'll see you next time. Give some thought to what I'm saying. Know when to fold them, friends.